Glenn Quagmire, a character from the show Family Guy, is known for his outrageous behavior and morally questionable actions. Here are 17 terrible things Quagmire has done throughout the series. Number 12 and 13 will blow you away. After all, who else but Quagmire? 1. Quagmire's infidelity. Quagmire is depicted as a notorious womanizer who frequently cheats on his partners and engages in infidelity. He often pursues sexual encounters with various women, disregarding commitments and betraying the trust of his partners. In several episodes, Quagmire is shown cheating on his steady girlfriend, Cheryl Teagues, with numerous other women. His unfaithfulness is depicted as a recurring pattern, highlighting his lack of commitment and respect for monogamous relationships. 2. Lack of empathy. Quagmire is often portrayed as a self-centered and opportunistic character who prioritizes his own desires over the well-being of others. He demonstrates a lack of empathy and frequently exploits people for personal gain. In Stuck Together, Torn Apart, Season 3, Episode 19, Quagmire becomes romantically involved with Lois Griffin, his best friend Peter's wife, and uses their relationship to sow discord between Peter and Lois. 3. Quagmire's driving under the influence and causing accidents. Quagmire's reckless behavior extends to his actions behind the wheel, often involving driving under the influence and causing accidents. 4. Quagmire's fraud and identity theft. Quagmire has been shown engaging in acts of fraud and identity theft throughout the series, often for personal gain or to deceive others. While these actions are exaggerated for comedic effect, they highlight Quagmire's willingness to cross ethical boundaries. 5. Filming without consent. Even if he refrained from any physical contact, Quagmire's status as a pervert would remain undeniable. He is a genuine peeping Tom, engaging in voyeuristic behavior that consistently invades the privacy of women. Since the inception of the show in Season 1, Quagmire has been depicted surreptitiously observing women through windows, over fences, behind curtains, and even in bathroom stalls. His most flagrant transgressions include filming women without their consent, especially Meg Griffin from behind the shower curtain. Regardless of the specific method employed, these actions are a blatant violation of privacy, likely constituting a significant invasion and potentially even illegal. 6. Deviant sexual appetite. Quagmire frequently pursues casual encounters, often objectifying women and treating them as mere conquests. 7. Quagmire's involvement in incestuous relationships. In the episode Quagmire's Dad, Season 8, Episode 18, Quagmire's father, Dan, reveals that he has undergone a sex change operation and is now a woman named Ida. Quagmire's initial reaction is one of shock and disbelief, and he struggles to come to terms with his father's new identity. However, as the episode progresses, Quagmire and Ida become romantically involved, which hints at an incestuous relationship between them. It's important to note that the portrayal of incestuous relationships in Family Guy is intended as dark humor and social commentary. 8. Quagmire's acts of vandalism. As Quagmire races through the streets, he loses control of the car and crashes into the living room of a random house. 9. Quagmire's involvement in prostitution. Throughout the series, Quagmire is depicted as a character with a voracious sexual appetite and a propensity for visiting brothels and engaging with sex workers. These instances often serve as comedic elements, emphasizing Quagmire's promiscuity and highlighting the more risque aspects of his character. In these scenes, Quagmire is shown frequenting establishments or encounters involving sex workers, often for the purpose of engaging in paid sexual encounters. 10. Violent altercations. In Meet the Quagmires, Season 5, Episode 18, in this episode, Quagmire travels back in time and alters the course of history. As a result, he finds himself married to Lois Griffin instead of Peter Griffin. However, as he starts to regret his decision, he attempts to go back in time and changes things back to the way they were. During his attempt to return to the present, Quagmire gets into a heated argument with a man at a bar who insults him. The argument escalates into a full-blown bar fight. 11. Drug trafficking. In various episodes, Quagmire is shown participating in or associated with drug-related activities, such as trafficking or using drugs. These depictions often serve as a humorous exaggeration or satirical commentary on the dangers and consequences of involvement in the drug trade. 12. Underage girls. Throughout the series, Quagmire's character demonstrates inappropriate behavior and a persistent attraction to underage girls, with Meg Griffin often being the target of his advances. These instances serve to highlight Quagmire's predatory nature and his disregard for age and consent. In this episode, Quagmire becomes infatuated with Meg. Despite her being a teenager, he relentlessly pursues her, making suggestive comments and advances in the boundary violations he perpetrates. 14. Animals. As Quagmire is driving his car, he fails to notice a cat crossing the road and accidentally hits it. Rather than showing remorse or concern for the injured animal, Quagmire reacts callously, dismissing the incident without any apparent empathy or regard for the suffering of the cat. 15. Faking death to avoid marriage. Quagmire has concocted some truly extreme excuses to end a marriage, and pretending to be gay is just one of them. In the Season 4 episode titled, I Take Thee, Quagmire, he hastily proposes to a woman named Joanne after only their second date. However, he soon discovers that Joanne is mentally unstable and fears that she may harm herself if they were to break up. To avoid this potentially dangerous situation, Quagmire resorts to faking a heart attack in order to convince Joanne that he has passed away. Unfortunately, his plan backfires during a staged funeral when Joanne unexpectedly defends Quagmire against death itself, resulting in her own demise. It's a somewhat dubious ending to say the least, and certainly not one that paints Quagmire in a favorable light or portrays him as an upstanding and honest individual. 16. Keeping sex slaves. In the episode Airport 07 of the 5th season, a mishap occurs when Peter accidentally reverses his pickup truck into Quagmire's car. As a result, Quagmire's trunk unexpectedly opens, revealing four scantily dressed Japanese women who quickly scatter away, seemingly liberated. Adding to the peculiar turn of events, Peter then crashes into his garage, setting free almost a dozen more women. 17. Beating up Brian. If there's one character in the show that Quagmire considers an enemy, it would be Brian Griffin. Despite both of them being characterized as promiscuous individuals, they hold differing ideologies and clash in various issues. In a particular episode of the 8th season, Quagmire goes so far as to physically assault Brian after discovering that Brian had engaged in a sexual encounter with Quagmire's recently transitioned father. While it may be understandably uncomfortable for Quagmire to learn that an acquaintance has been involved with his parent, it does not justify Quagmire's violent reaction towards Brian. Certainly, there may be some level of unease in such a situation, but Quagmire's resorting to physical aggression against Brian over it is unwarranted and unacceptable. Let me know which act of Quagmire's was the worst. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for more videos like this. See you guys in the next one.